Okay. So take a breath, hand on heart. I think I will play you the flute a little bit as we begin today. I have this really nice deep flute that could help just set the tone for how your business transforms, as you go through different stages, health crisis, whatever it is, that brings you into different new changes, having a baby, all kinds of things happen, right? You have to sort of navigate your career. So let's just take a breath and let me play you in. Oops. Ashe. So today's call, oh good, Nai, hello, John, great to have you here. Grace, Jimbo, you got sound? No. Oh no. I don't know how to help problem solve that one. It's on your receiving end, right? So I would always say, Jimbo, sign off and restart the call or contact Zoom support, question mark. Okay. This is a great topic for today. I had a 3-page handout for you. And a lot of you are doing great stuff right now. I'm thrilled. If you haven't been on the Facebook page and seen both Alicia and John Crowder's new promotional videos, please go watch them. I put the links in our email reminder. They're fantastic to see you guys doing those videos. Way to go. And then put them on your professional Facebook page and share them to your personal page. That's the circuit that I'm learning, is we put them, we all have our personal page, but then we have our UpBeat Drum Circles page or Just Add Rhythm page, and put it there first and share it to your personal page so that you keep driving people to your company. So today's topic is about growth, and I titled it New Forests of Success, because we're really going to talk about growth. And what does success mean to you? And what does growth mean to you? So cutting back is a natural part of growth. Pruning, let's call it. Cutting back is a natural part of growth. When people unsubscribe from my newsletter, I learned from Constant Contact not to freak out. That's okay. I'm pruning my email list. If they don't want to be in my email list, I'd rather they go. It actually saves me money because I'm paying for that person on my list, right? So learning that some focusing may look suspiciously like something is lost. It's not. All loss is a pruning. All loss is an opportunity, a call to change directions in some way, right? And just even before we started the call, I was talking with Carol, who mentioned some health challenges and it's really affecting her work. And it's like, she was already thinking about not doing so much Drums Alive, and then the universe just said, that's correct. You won't be doing that as much. I had that big risk this year to stop doing health rhythms trainings. That was my pruning. And what happened was in carving space, pruning, the Shift Network opportunity came in. That was a very full-time, 7-week job. So a real great job, a really more correct use of my skills and gifts. I mean, Health Rhythms was like, I told the president of Remo Brock, it's like an expert skier on a bunny hill. I wanted to be into something that challenged me. And I was tired of the same run after 18 years. I mean, come on. So just scary. It's scary when that happens, though, because it's your bread and butter move. And then all of a sudden you're letting it go and you're moving into a new phase. And so that's what I want to talk about tonight is growth. And you can discuss that in your breakout groups. Write in the chat bar, what's one way you are growing right now? And before you write, I just want to kind of emphasize these 3 techniques of growth, because I use the tree model or the nature model. We're branching, or we're pruning, or we're trunking. Trunking is when you, Carol, you say to yourself, I'm going to keep those drums alive contracts, and I'm going to send somebody and take 15%. That's trunking. Or trunking is, I'm going to train trainers. That's a classic trunking move. I'm going to add to and the trunking, by the way, is a correct metaphor. It happens in redwoods and sequoias. If you wonder how they get to be so tall, it's because at some point as they grow, they literally send out a new trunk and they look like there's a new tree suspended from the air. It's rather marvelous. So trunking is that extending yourself from your original work and then having someone else take on that responsibility in those gigs and give you a percentage. That's good, Brad. Beautiful. Wow. What do you mean going to Belize as invites? Say a little more about that and how is that branching, pruning, or trunking, right? So another thing that's happening right now in growth that we're all tracking is online courses. And because they're scalable, they're much more scalable. I can set up a class and have, like I did in the shift, 600 people on a call. Not all of them show up, but then the recording is scalable and sent out to everybody. So scalability kind of falls into that sort of you've pruned, and now that branch has gotten strong enough to hold that many people. Branching and trunking, those are really good things for scalability, for creating an online course, that passive income. And we're going to talk about that, products and programs. I'm always hammering you guys on that because those are the 2 keys to financial success and self-employment. It's really good to have a product or something you sell. It doesn't have to be something you create, but having a sales channel and then having your products and services. And I included some information that I helped Grace developed in her Shake Your Face Off egg shakers, which are so fabulous. Okay, so this is great. People are posting how they feel that they're currently growing. What is growth looking like for you right now? Let's take a look at some of the comments. Taking this class. Yep. Okay, yeah, so going to Belize as a drummer leading meditation. Yeah, that's definitely a branch, a new branch you're pulling together. Make sure, Damon, when you go, you remember to do post-event marketing, which means you shoot a little video. Hey, I'm here in Belize. Here's my, I'm leading this group. You don't have to have it with the group, but you can just be on location. That little post-event marketing materials in beautiful places are really critical. I mean, I was looking at my most popular YouTube videos, and almost all of them I did not shoot here in California. I shoot them in exciting places. And I wanted to show you guys my travel gear. Would you like to see it? Okay, this is all under $25. So I have a tripod, as many of you have, that your cell phone clips into, but I'm crazy about the new cell phone ring light. So I clip it on my cell phone right over where the camera is, and it lights your face. Look, you get a little halo. It's called the halo, the ring light. And you can even see it on me, like just by holding it up, and it's at the end of my phone, I get this little halo. So if you're wondering how I look good in my camera shoots, that's the secret. The second thing I did is I purchased a $15 mic clip with a long I guess you could get a Bluetooth one, but I got a nice long chain so I can plug it into my cell phone when I record outdoors with a nice little wind guard. The problem I found with this is it gets overdriven when I drum. So now I'm experimenting with using this for talking and then just unplugging it when I drum. So that's the challenge with this. The big challenge I learned at the Shift Network was you really need 2 mics, a speaking mic and a drum mic. So, and then I have a cell phone tripod. So the ring light, which is a USB charger, which is fabulous, a nice microphone. I usually bring an external mic, which is my Zoom, which is a very high-end audio recorder so that I can mix in high-quality sound. And I just hold it on the chute. So that fits in my travel bag. I schlep it to Scotland. I schlep it everywhere I go. Takes a couple minutes to set up, but then you can make those beautiful videos wherever you are, even in your own communities. If there's a beautiful garden somewhere, a beautiful nature scene. Number one thing people said after my Shift Network class was they wanted more scenes in nature behind me. Interesting, huh? So that's my comment about that. Alicia, she's training 1 or 2 facilitators, good, to take on some gigs for having a baby. Congratulations! Yep. And Carolina, I'm walking through the fire. Well, there you go. What is that? I'd say that's probably another level of pruning, branching, and trunking. That's like burning. But you're a redwood tree girl, Carolina, so you know how to go through the fire. Where is she? We don't see you, but good. Thanks for showing up there. Really owning my dreams and receiving the gifts I've been given. Great. So I guess what we could call that is sort of being the tree, embodying your business. But it sounds like a branch. To own that sounds like a branch to me. I'm owning that, and I'm pruning any of the voices that said I'm not good enough to do this. Yeah. Nai, doing both, right? Branching new services and pruning. And that's very common to have that duality. Oh, good. Alicia's working on a product for corporate wellness programs. Great. You guys are writing great answers. Oh, that's great, Carol. Working on a live internet Drums Alive class for people who cannot find a class near them and who need to sit. That's brilliant. Take lemons and make lemonade. Stage it is something to look at. One thing that we had trouble with at Shift Network was the Zoom platform was very challenging with sound when you bring in a drum. In fact, my next Shift Network course, we're pre-filming all the clips because of the Zoom challenge with sound. We did solve it with 2 mics, but if you're doing a live class, the number one problem that everyone's having with online education now is production quality. So another tip, what I did is, you see above my door, there's a little sheet hung up there. I just roll that down to create my backdrop when I teach online. So, you know, having a backdrop, having a little stage area, having a good mic, and you're off to the races. And I think it's great use of, I mean, there's so many people that could use that Drums Alive class, and you could actually videotape the class, and so people could watch it anytime that week. Grace, pruning and branching. Yep. Yep. I really think your product is great. John, way to go on your video. I just reminded people to watch it. And offering more public programs, that's a great branching because it gets you more exposure. Steve, anything you want to add? And anybody else I didn't hear from? Jimbo. We're not sure if he can hear us. But this is good awareness. You guys all have good awareness, and continuing to see where you are and have a good sense of this, because here's the deal. Overbranching is the definition of burnout. When you're overbranched beyond your root capacity, burnout. And that might be help, back end, support, an assistant, whatever it is. You know that feeling, right? When you're branches are growing, and usually what happens is maybe you get a really good gig, like I think John might have shared, he booked Facebook, I think it was, or Google. I can't remember now, John, what it was. Yeah, and then all of a sudden you might kind of explode, and suddenly you need more help in the office. The roots aren't enough to hold that growth. So that's the other piece of this, is getting the back end support you need as you grow. So that's why I'm really crazy about this tree metaphor, because I think it really helps us. We don't want to be burned out, right? We want to avoid the phase of overbranched without the root support. Branching would be the closest thing, different space, but branching with product creation and consulting, great. Two things that are so critical, product and services. Wonderful.
Can I share something real quick?
Yeah, who's that?
It's Carolina, and I'm sorry, I'm driving. I was in Ojai, and I just went for a hike, and I hiked into this place where all the fires were, and I broke these branches, and I felt like the trees themselves were asking me to like get close to them, and I broke these branches, and inside each of the really burnt branches was pink skin, was life, and that they had really made it through the fire. And that was a gift that I just received, so it feels really synchronistic, and I just wanted to share that with you all.
Thank you. That's a great metaphor, isn't it? Yep, purification. When you go through the fire, you get purification. And then you come back and that tree is stronger. And good, you guys all have a good sense of where you're at. What is growth in the digital age? I'm asking us all to think about that. Because even a year ago, when I ran this mastermind course, we didn't have the level of, oh good, thanks Jimbo. When we had, even a year ago, we didn't have the explosion of online learning that we have today. How many of you saw the Rhythm Bliss online course? A woman who is she's from Costa Rica, she's a Chile, and she teaches yoga and she teaches drumming, and she just launched a Rhythm Bliss course, online program, 84 videos. This is happening. So she turned her coursework and her product into an online course, and now she's doing marketing on Facebook ads. So this is all a whole different world, this digital landscape, compared to even a year ago when I was teaching this mastermind. So what does growth mean in the digital age? Well, it means Steve can do consulting with anyone in any country. It just completely obliterates any barriers to who our audience is. If you're just doing the consulting, I mean, for live products, for transactional products, it doesn't change that aspect, but it does mean that Damon can have, and I highly recommend you do this, he can have a Skype call with Belize before he goes there. I keep telling you this, that it is so important how we prepare. Preparation is everything in our work. A well-prepared event. So I just booked, I'm very happy to say, July 25th, I'll be drumming with Palestinian and Israeli youth. I'm thrilled about it because it's really my mission. 42 kids in Carlsbad in my backyard. Someone found out about me when I was teaching at Soul of Yoga, hilarious, in my backyard. And I'm really like, let's schedule a call. I've researched their website. I'm going to go to the high school ahead of time. I'm really drilling into, I've watched the videos of each year's performance. I'm going to go early that day and watch a keynote. So it's just, if they don't want to have time to meet you for tea, let's jump on a Skype call. Seeing someone or Zoom or FaceTime makes such a difference for me in my planning to feel that energy, right? And if I can't get together with them otherwise. Digital age means you can change your business model from one-to-one and one-to-many. Yep, you can reach many people. Online course, webinars. That's another thing that the digital age means. We can do webinars. We can do free calls. Carol could do a free open call for anybody with injuries doing Drums Alive. Or she could do a Drums Alive, adapted Drums Alive from the chair. An online workshop, an online event, an online webinar. Brad could teach about things he's learned working with seniors in drumming, and he could do that with a group of a chain of these clients of his. It means sitting down with our current clients and branching through knowing who they are. Or maybe, as Carolina said, it means coming through the fire of an injury or a life change and accepting a new branch that might not have been what you planned, but it's where you land. Yeah. You do get a delay. That's what I was saying was the biggest problem about Zoom with Shift Network was we couldn't do group drumming. However, I found a bunch of ways I could do drumming. I'm putting that into a webinar, by the way, for the drum circle community called How to Do Drum Circles in the Virtual Space, because we learned a lot of what not to do and what to do. However, Chloe Goodchild is teaching, voice on Zoom. So there's a lot of ways, and I think we can use that. You can share on the chat bar, that's fine. So the idea of what does growth mean in the digital age, how much have you educated yourself on the digital platforms that are available to you? And if you have any questions when I'm done yapping, please let's talk about it. I do have a lot of experience now, more and more, that I've dedicated myself to the digital space. And there's a learning curve, but it's very effective. And what is the key support you need to grow? Right? Caroline and I were talking about this, like having more help from someone who's up to date. I mean, I have had to keep hiring assistants that are in their 20s because I'm learning from them all the time. My shipping kid, who's a sophomore, well, he's a junior becoming a senior, he whips off my YouTube stuff and he makes banners for me. It's like nothing for him. He's living in the digital space. So it sounds kind of strange to have a shipping person who's like not even barely a high school senior, but he's brilliant at helping me catch on to the Instagrams, to the, so why not have somebody helping your company that knows that stuff, that lives in that space? Oh, that's great. That's great, Alicia. That's wonderful. We're working out the challenge of being live but virtual. Good. We can talk about that. So that's what we want to talk about today. The other thing that I put together on this sheet that I think has been so instrumental for all of you to do is know the numbers. We get going, we care, we're in a caring service industry, and we don't always really know how much we're being compensated. So it's just important to follow your numbers. What branch could grow? Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. So my business model is a tree, and I drew a tree and I drew all the branches of the things I do. Yeah, and I did some pruning this year. Took on a new branch. I mean, pruning, the new branch appears. So you might map that out for yourself as a tree and put underneath it, what are the roots? I'll email you mine, but what are the roots? What are the support systems you need? I think we tend to get stingy about our support because, we don't really have a corporate budget. But to me, the more I invest in that support, the more vibrant my tree is, the more vibrant my offerings. And if you wonder what an assistant should do for you, the answer is make a list of the things you hate to do that sucks your energy. I remember asking Jackie Jordan, who taught the class how to get on TV. I said, how do you know when it's time to get an assistant? She said, when you're standing in a line at a post office. That's your cue. So if your time is worth more, make sure you're not spending it doing tasks that you could outsource with good confidence. So those are my thoughts. Considering now the last thing I want to talk about, and then of course I gave you a little handout on your program and your product. And this can really help you to do this little worksheet like, what are my products? And what are my programs? Like John is sharing more, I'm focusing on public programs, or I'm focusing on team building programs. Damon's going to take on a new program. He's designing a drum meditation leader program, right? He's in design mode. So there's that level of You know, how do we design it? We test it on human subjects. We can just live in our head forever, but until we really know the audience, we get to go out there. I get to go teach my peace building drum circle design. I'm so excited because I've been designing that thing for 11 years and I finally get to use it, you know? Or Steve has all these designs from his experience as a minister, so now he gets to go use those. I don't have the light on now. No, I didn't set it up. I could, but I didn't. So I want you to think about the program development, the name, the protocol, and the planning sheet. And I gave you all a copy of my planning sheet. I need this kind of stuff because that way I can hand it to an assistant. Don't make the mistake of expecting them to do things you didn't train them in, right? So the thing that I realized, it was like a crazy aha I had the other day. When you're self-employed, you're always, I think it was Naia and I were talking about this, you're always making your own training manual. You really are. You're always creating your own training manual. So having something that says, yeah, a place where I can go to design my program. What is it you guys use to design this stuff? I tend to use those really big sheets with multicolored markers and I draw all over them and I get really crazy and fun. I take a picture of it and then it goes from that stage to, like, you know, something in a Word document or a Google document. But first, I like it to be creative and brainstorm, and I need someone to hold space with me when I do it. This is just me sharing about my process. So however you find it and then we test it on human subjects, or we run some tests, and then we learn with their feedback, and then we hone it. And the bliss of self-employment, I'm going to tell you, is doing work that you've well honed. It's going to be blissful for me to work with these kids from Israel and Palestine. Hard population, but I know I've honed that version of this project, of this protocol. Like Health Rhythms was well honed, you know? So if we have things that we've well honed, that's blissful. You guys know Carol and Brad, who really do Health Rhythms a lot, right? It's like, I've honed this protocol. You know, it feels blissful. Or John, he's developed when he does a heartbeat in his program, and it's really honed. These things are blissful. Or Carolina singing a song that she's really rehearsed and really owned and really connected to. Or Damon, you know, this is the thing, is I could talk about this with each and every one of you. That's why you are the mastermind. And you think about your product, right, Grace? You know, what's the name of it? And I included for you 2 worksheets, a sheet that's more about the projects or the programs, the services, and a sheet that's more about a product. DIY means do it yourself or pitch it. And these are just, you can just walk through these steps even with an idea. And then there's these things that land between products and services, like a Shift Network course that's going to go evergreen. It's going to become a product, but it was a service. You know, it becomes a place of both of those. I mean, Damon, when you're out there learning about leading a drum meditation, hello. I mean, that's an audio product, a drum meditation track. I wanted to tag in with you all about 2 months ago's assignment, and we can talk about that in the Q&A as well. If you have questions or you're finding things that work for that, having that free gift, having that system available that you create, Damon, that would be a great thing filmed live in Belize. I mean, recorded live in Belize. My friend Fantuzzi just went to Cuba and he made a record. He spent a day in the studio and found musicians and just like recorded his songs with Cubans. Brilliant. And of course, his trip was a write-off because of that. So let me open it up for Q&A. And comments? Anybody have comments or questions? I haven't tried the ring light on my computer. I mean, I have a large ring light. This one was 20 bucks on, you know, online, but my large ring light is $100 large. It's called the Halo. So there it is. But it's not good to have it on when you have glasses on. Of course, it's never good to teach online with glasses on. Even though I bought the non-reflective glasses, I don't think they really work. So there's the light on. And there's 3 settings, by the way. So I can have soft, or screaming loud. You can see the screaming loud, right? But it lights you really evenly like a little halo. So that's the light. I think you could facilitate with it too. Okay, who's got a question?
I want to put a plug in for something, which is, first of all, it's just so nice to be back and to hear you and to just hear this content and how resonant it is with where I'm at. I feel that I've just done some major pruning and I'm ready to, like, from the cutting away of the weeds, like I'm ready to spring forward. So
Good.
I love these metaphors. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Yes, go ahead. Oh, I see that you have your hand held up on the computer. I'm learning how to use this thing. Okay. Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, so you had mentioned, I've had several people come to me and want me to teach drum lessons through Skype. And drums, as you said, Christine, are really difficult. They're not only difficult to do miking, it's especially difficult to do over the internet, and then there's the delay. So I'd be really interested in hearing, and then someone else, so I'd be interested in hearing your take, and then there was, I can't find it in the chat history of today, but someone else said,
oh my God, is that a word? I love that word, e-jamming. Okay.
e-jamming, yes. So not even just drum circles, which actually I'd be interested in finding out how you do that, drum circles through Skype. I never even thought about that, or through the e-world, e-jamming. But also, so how do you mic it? What type of mic? What are the practicalities of being able to mic, teaching a drum lesson or leading a drum meditation, but even interactive drumming, i.e. a drum lesson or a drum circle? Christine, I'm interested in hearing your take. And then I thought there was somebody else in the chat history that also said they had, I think it was Alicia, who said they had experience with it as well.
Let me just share this real quick. Here's what she's speaking to. E-jamming.
Oh, okay. Wow. What a trip.
So click here to download. It looks like a platform. So that's something to look into.
Yeah.
Alicia, you can answer first, and then I can respond too.
Yeah, yours, a little bit different situation for me. Like I said, I was developing a webinar for a company that focuses on innovation. And so my webinar was supposed to be like a 20-minute thing where they wanted me to establish my authority in my field. So I started off by sharing a story about, my time in Africa and what I learned there and kind of how I brought it over here. And we really only had time to do like 1 or 2 interactive activities. And for the most part, these are like corporations where there could be people watching in a room of 100 people and they're all watching one screen. Or it could be like everyone's sitting at their cubicle, and everyone's by themselves. And so I was like, how do I make this interactive? And so I took an idea that I actually got from the Drum Circle Facilitators Guild conference this year. Dave Holland presented a game called Rock, Paper, Scissors. And basically he was like, when I hold up the signal for rock, you guys are going to jam on your drums. When I hold up the signal for scissors, you're going to use your voice and like vocables. Like when I hold up the signal for paper, you're going to do body percussion. And so what I did with that, because nobody had drums and nobody was going to feel comfortable jamming out on them by themselves or otherwise. So like rock was like clapping a rhythm. And then like scissors or paper was like snapping your fingers. And scissors was using your voice. And so it didn't matter if people were into like doing it live together. They were individually trying it on their own. And the idea, because we're focusing on innovation, was just to get them to open up the creative parts of their mind. So we weren't doing it live, but everybody was doing it together. So you kind of have that interesting dynamic of like everyone's doing it, but like they're doing it to themselves and I can't hear how it's going.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. That's exciting. My take on it for you, because I've been studying on Skype with Marla Lee for 4 years. What works for me with the lessons is call and response a lot. So she plays and I repeat. She plays and I repeat. And the most important thing I've learned is she often turns her camera down and shows the hand position. The good thing about Skype or Zoom is we can record it. So
Right.
I've been doing some music therapy sessions online with people using Zoom with the drum. And that is the thing, is just to make sure I can show the drum when I'm teaching a hand position. I can see their drum. And then call and response works great because the delay is, oh well, right? Jimbo,
Right.
like, yeah, there's going to be a little delay, but it's sort of like da-da-ga-da-ga. And then you kind of wait and then they play it back to you. And then they can lead and you can reply. And I send her lots of supplemental videos on the lessons. So in a one-to-one situation, I will then say, please check your inbox. I'm going to send you a couple of videos to watch. And then I give her assignments in between, like, find me a video that captures the kind of drumming that's your goal.
Okay.
So I use the entire web, I'm
Right.
using the resource and having her look for it and having me look for it. I also wanted to say, in January, Marla Lee and I collaborated on an online class called Drumming in the New Year. So what we did is we drummed live on a Zoom call. So we had like 20 people on the call or something. And so that's different than like if a video is in the can and I pull it up and watch it anytime, right? So there's two different ways to think about this: a live interactive or a video, like on Teachable. So in that sense, what I keep learning about that is you mute all and you see everyone drumming.
Right.
And you have to really use your creative juice, man, because you don't get the sound back. That is the hardest thing about teaching online, is you're so used to that immediate sonic community. There's no sonic community unless you do what I did on the virtual drum circle for Earth Day at Shift Network. I hired 2 more drummers and they played with me while we broadcast. The 2 things that worked best was Rumble. Everybody can Rumble. I facilitated the Rumble. I could hear them. We can unmute all and Rumble.
Right.
The other good thing was passing the pulse. So I could choose a person, then choose another person. I could demonstrate that if you guys want to learn that on this now. So anyway, those are just some tips about that. And I think it's a really important platform for you because you have that whole SRF network, and that's a global network.
Right.
Even if you did, drumming and chanting SRF devotional chants, you'd have an immediate audience.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Good question.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, one more question. And what kind of mic do you use? The Zoom mic?
No. The Zoom mic I don't use. I use 2 mics. And I use the Scarlett. It's an interface that you plug a usual microphone in and then it interfaces into a USB.
Okay.
That Scarlett was awesome. Scarlett.
You use 2? You use 2 of those?
No, I just used one Scarlett as 2 inputs. So I did an instrument mic and a vocal mic. I just used the mics I already had. I tried the Yeti. I didn't like it. What I'm speaking to you guys now on is the microphone off my webcam. It's better than Zoom. I mean, not Zoom, but it's better than my computer, right? The microphone, by the way, the video in your computer is like 6 cents in China. So getting a $42 webcam, I can send you all the one I recommend. If you're going to do any meetings online, look at I'll show you the difference. Here's my camera. Here's without my camera. All right, I'm going to share my video. Look at the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well, when I said Zoom mic, I meant there's a really good mic made by a company that it's called a Zoom mic, not the Zoom call mic. That's not what I.
Oh, yeah. No, I tried using that too. I ended up really just liking the Scarlett because it made use of microphone equipment I already had, just an interface to get into the USB.
Okay. So 1 Scarlett, 2 inputs.
Yep.
Thank you.
1 Scarlett USB. It's an interface box, and you can mix it. It's a mixing board basically. So if I need more voice and less drum, I can mix it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of work figuring that out. So I can teach you guys about lighting and sound. And the other thing I can teach you is be camera ready. The camera ready is a really big Hollywood term. It just means you don't get on camera until you're ready. Makeup, hair, wardrobe, 3 things. That applies to men and women. Well, maybe not the makeup. Makeup, hair, and wardrobe. You know, you don't want to film it if you're not at least looking your best.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions before we open it up for you guys to have duos with each other?
I did that recently. I made a video after this dance class, and it was very potent. I was talking to this man who had something that I felt like a lot of people could value. But all of a sudden, I'm on the video, and I'm looking down, and I was wearing this outfit that I was dancing in. But all of a sudden, I was like, what am I wearing? And as I'm on the video, I'm like covering up and like having all this insecurity. It was
Yep. Hair, makeup, wardrobe, the 3 keys. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Grace, anything you want to say with your product?
I am learning to like seriously love it. I don't know if I can paste this in. Took a picture. I'm like, oh, I guess you have to like click on it. Nope, that's not mine. It won't paste. But I wish I could show you like the pictures. I've been doing really unique things with the shakers. And so like I made a Princess Leia and a Harry Potter shaker, and people are just loving those. So I've only been doing those for family mostly, and for friends who have done different things for me. And so then I've done things for them. But people are really just enjoying the uniqueness. And I'm just loving actually just being creative with it. Because I'm trying to make kits, but it's been interesting. My living room is still full, very full of eggs. But I think I've got it all down now, and it's ready to go. And so now I've got to pack it up and get it.
Yay! That is fantastic. I'm so proud of you. And I really like your microphone. She got a little headset going on.
I do. I'm at work, so I get the bonus of using my work technology. I think it's Sennheiser.
Oh yeah.
Sennheiser's good.
Does it plug into the USB or plug it into the audio jack?
You can do it's audio.
Nice.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference. Yes, that is the one I use that Jimbo put up there. Well, congratulations. I'm glad you're moving forward with that shaker product because it's brilliant and it's fun and it's, I don't know, do you have one there? I don't know if everybody saw your product. It's hysterical.
Oh,
take your face off.
My poo emoji shaker. I think I might have one of those in here. Let me see.
And she does them with all little kind of themes, and they're for educating people into emotional processing. Like, I think that's your angle is EQ.
I wish I had one of my poo emoji ones because I didn't know until I actually put them together, but they sound like spark shakers. So like you can do all of these really unique like sounds, like so you can make ocean sounds, and you can, so like I've really been exploring with it, and I've made like bunny shakers, and it's been really super fun. But like those poo emoji ones were like, I had no idea that they would make that sound until I started playing with them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love these.
But it's great that you're like packing them and figuring them out and getting it going. Oh, good, Sean. That's good. You got a new webcam. And just getting it going and moving it forward, because product, it does so much for you, Grace. It establishes you as an expert. You could wholesale them out into the world. I mean, I did a little time once calling all those companies that supply schools with musical instruments. Really worth the time. So I got in their catalogs. I had to have camera ready stuff. I had to have descriptions. There's a lot of steps. But it was really worth it. Body Beat is wholesaled to Music in Motion and West Music Catalog. And, you know, so then people get to see your name and then they find you online. Products and services.
It would be good. I'm going to have to do a session with you so you can teach me how to do those things.
Any other questions? Are we getting partners? I think we're good. Okay, so let's get in partners and share about your next step of growth. I'd like to hear if your growing focus is going to be product or service. And what's your next step in terms of from this call and from the last call, have you finished your offering? You know, your task was create an offering or get a testimonial. So how many of you got a testimonial? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you got?
Who, me? Oh, me? Yeah, well, a couple things. I now carry a booklet, a little notebook with me. And so for my classes, I have one which is all adaptive. And so I asked a lot of people in that class, what did you like about this? What did you, and so I'm writing that down to give back to the director of the program so that she really knows how people feel. I also did that with my senior citizen class because it's paid for through the hospital. And I let them know what the seniors were telling me, how they've improved over the last year. And they love that. They were so thankful for that because those are the kind of things they usually don't write down in their feedback to them, but they've told me things about their physical health that has increased. So that was a big help.
And then did you send that to your person who booked you?
Yes.
And what was the response?
She was thrilled because she never gets to really hear that. And because it's a hospital, for them to actually hear that people's physical health is improving, that was huge because it's through grants that they're able to do this. So they can put that in to whoever they get the grant from to prove that it is working.
Let's give her a Zoom applause. No, that's really great. Well done. Anybody else? Testimonial? Okay, Carolina? Spotlight video.
Are you waiting for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've been utilizing Christine's method of passing out cards at the end of kirtans and getting testimonials. And it's amazing what it also does for my confidence after I've just put all this energy out there to receive the energy back and to hear how people are receiving me. It's really, it's such a game changer for me and what I'm up to.
Zoom applause. Oh, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. I agree. I save those. I save the good ones. They're in my warm fuzzies drawer. Did anybody make an offer, create an offer, a free gift? Anybody create that?
I did.
Wow, what is it?
I have a meditation that I did with a drummer from Guinea, and I had bought the cards. I have CDs, but I also bought these cards through CD Baby, and I have like 100 of them, and they've been sitting there. So if you subscribe for my email, then I send you the code for you to download that meditation. So that will do for a little while until I have to do something else.
I want to hear the meditation.
I will send you a card.
Can you put it on Facebook for us?
Possibly. I have to look into that. It's 20 minutes long.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I love that idea. I love your download card, and I love that collaboration. A meditation with an African drummer, beautiful.
Yeah, and it's based on it's called water imprints. So it's using water imprinting, and so he's a friend of mine, and I said, "Can you drum water?" And he looked at me and he said, "Okay." And we got together, and in one take, he did 20 minutes of drumming water. That's all I asked him to do, just drum water, and that's what he did.
And did you pay him?
I gave him a bunch of CDs to sell, so that money was his, so he can send that back to his village. So we did the whole project originally to help his village get a new well, because they only had one well for the whole village.
Honey,
So,
that is like a whole campaign. You just pulled together a beautiful email blast campaign. help us with the well, you know, help promote it. And that's a really beautiful collaboration.
Yeah, we actually ended up with 4 wells.
Give her some applause. See, now that's a great example of bringing something together that becomes in marketing for both of you and it has something to do with your brand. So perfectly. Brad, that is not cheating.
Yeah, well, it kind of is.
Just freaking smart, you know. It's like I'm gonna send the research out and get more interest in the research.
Yeah, I did that. All I had to do was mention it, and the interest was huge. So certain activities directors that I do a lot of work for, I just made sure that they got it. And one of them actually turned it into a flyer somewhat. I haven't seen the flyer yet.
Great.
You know, the thing is, I don't really need to get much more work from these folks, but it's more of a service because it was such it's such compelling research that, you know, you want people to know about it. I mean, they know that what I do is good for people and all of that. So it's not really to get anything more. It's more to be to share the information. Also, the stuff from the Remo. I went to the Remo site and just kind of stuck all of the research, the research page, and I put that and the depression study basically in one email, and I can just kind of just forward it to anybody that I need to.
Perfect.
It's so easy.
The one thing, I know you don't need more work, but the one thing I keep feeling for you is to think about a banner, like a little brand.
I know, I should.
In Canva, they're so easy to make, or you could have someone design it for you. I mean, that is such a powerful thing when you open it. I thought about you, John Crowder, with that same thing. When you open an email from me, you get the mastermind banner, right? So I paid my designer to make that for me because it gives my email communication such a deep level of professionalism and branding. Don't you guys feel that when you get that email from me? There's the mastermind banner, my picture. That's my usual banner. So that's something for you to think about. But I love that because then I put that on top of my handouts for you guys. So that's just something to think about for you, is to put that brand at the top of your handout that goes out digitally. So John Crowder, you asked me about what I do, so I can show it. I have a slide in my PowerPoint that just says text your email to text to join 28228, and I'll send you this free gift. And the free gift is this 22-minute music medicine guided meditation for self-tuning. I produced it, wasn't cheap, but I knew it was going to have legs. It's timeless. And I wanted to have an incentive for people to join the list, like what Carol's saying. And so then what I did, Carol, this would help you too, is I made a graphic for that free gift. So the PowerPoint has the text to join call to action, and then the next slide is an image. Like, it looks really professional. I can show it to you because it's on the page for Shift Network. So that's what I did. And it took me time and it took me money, and I got to tell you, I was fighting with myself the whole way because I was thinking to myself, this feels weird that I'm spending all this money on something that it's just a promo piece, but it's so high quality that I feel really good about it. And I also send it to everybody who buys my online class. They get it as well. So I will find that and share it on this call. But first I want you to have a minute to talk to each other in breakout groups. So share your growth call to action from this call today. I'm going to unmute everybody and put you in a group room. Because I think this sharing, this one-to-one sharing, is a really big aspect of our being together in this cohort. Okay. So it's going to be 4 rooms with 2 to 3 people. Okay, here we go.